The first signal. The night was quiet over the city of New Delhi. Lights flickered in homes and offices, and most people were asleep, unaware that something from far beyond their world was trying to reach them. In a small observatory on the edge of the city, Dr. Arjun Mehta, a young astrophysicist, stared at the glowing screen with wide eyes, the signal blinking in a pattern no one had ever seen before. "This is impossible," he whispered to himself. The numbers and sounds made no sense. It was not random. It was not natural. It was a message from somewhere beyond the stars. He called his assistant, Lena, who rushed into the room, coffee in hand, her hair messy. "Arjun, what is it?" she asked. Seeing the strange graphs and signals on the monitors, Arjun shook his head. "I don't know yet, but someone, or something, is sending us a warning." As the hours passed, the message became clearer. Words formed slowly on the computer screens. Chilling words, simple and sharp. "Prepare for us." Arjun's hands trembled as he read it aloud. Lena felt a cold shiver down her spine. The words repeated. "Prepare for us." Humanity had never received a warning like this before. It was not a threat exactly, but it carried a weight heavier than anything people could imagine. It was as if the universe itself was speaking to them, demanding attention. Somewhere deep in space, eyes beyond human understanding were watching Earth. And now Earth had been told there was no time for ignorance, no room for delay. Arjun immediately contacted the Indian Space Research Organization, and soon, messages were sent to the United Nations, the United States, Russia, China, and Europe. The world's top scientists gathered in emergency meetings, their faces pale, hands shaking. Many could not believe what they were seeing. The message was simple, yet terrifying. One warning, one chance. Prepare, for us. Military leaders were confused. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a hoax or a prank, but Arjun and his team knew better. This was real. The pattern of the signal, its speed and frequency, could not be human. The calculation showed it came from beyond the solar system, thousands of light years away, yet it had reached Earth perfectly, clearly, intentionally. It was not a coincidence. In the streets of New Delhi, people continued their lives, unaware that humanity had been warned. In a small apartment, a young pilot named Rayan watched the news, the alert blinking on his screen. "Alien signal detected," it said, "possible threat to Earth." Rayan felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. He had always dreamed of flying into space, but he never imagined it would be because someone was coming for them, somewhere in the shadows. Commanders were preparing. Plans were drawn in secret. But the world outside continued, normal and unsuspecting. The first signal had reached them. But would humanity listen? Would they prepare? Or would they ignore the warning and face the unknown, unready? Back at the observatory, Arjun and Lena worked tirelessly, decoding the signal. It was not just words. It contained numbers, coordinates, and diagrams, shapes that defied understanding, star maps, patterns of energy, designs for ships that no human mind could easily imagine. It was as if the sender was showing them what was coming, teaching them what to fear. Each new discovery made Arjun's heart pound faster. The message was clear. One warning had been sent, and it was enough to shake humanity to its core. The countdown, however unspoken, had already begun. Outside, the sky was quiet. The stars twinkled peacefully, hiding the chaos to come. In his office, a commander named Vikram studied the patterns on his screens, his face grim. "If this is real," he said slowly, "then we have only one chance to prepare." He turned to his team. "Everything we know, every weapon, every plan, must be ready. We cannot fail, not this time." The world was not ready, but humanity never truly knew it until now. The first signal was a warning, but it was also a test of courage, unity, and survival. As dawn broke over the horizon, the signal continued to repeat, calm but menacing. "Prepare for us." People slept, unaware of the eyes watching them from across the stars. Arjun, Lena, Rayan, Vikram, and a few others knew the truth. The universe had sent its first message, a warning, and now humanity faced a choice: ignore it and remain blind, or rise together and prepare for the unknown. The countdown had begun, and there was no turning back. The first warning had been given, one warning, one chance, and humanity had to act before it was too late. Global alarm. The world woke to chaos. Alerts flashed on every screen. Governments scrambled as the news spread. A message from the stars had reached Earth. "Prepare for us." Fear and confusion rippled through cities, streets filled with people asking questions they could not answer. In Washington, the United Nations called an emergency session. Leaders argued over what the warning meant. Some demanded immediate military response, others pleaded for diplomacy. In Russia, commanders activated their satellite defenses, but no one knew if they would be enough. In China, scientists examined the signal, trying to find a hidden meaning. Everywhere, humanity faced the same question: what had they been warned about? In New Delhi, Arjun and Lena worked day and night, decoding more of the signal. Each new pattern brought more questions than answers. Energy readings, unknown elements, strange shapes of ships moving across diagrams that no human mind could fully grasp. Lena said softly, "Arjun, it is like they are watching us, testing us." Arjun nodded, exhaustion in his eyes. "We need to tell the world the truth. But will anyone listen in time?" Rayan, the young pilot, was summoned by the Indian Space Command. He arrived at the base, nerves tight, heart pounding. Officers explained the situation. "We do not know what we face," one commander said. "But we know this. The warning is real, and we have no time to waste." Rayan felt a chill. This was not a simulation. This was the real unknown, and his training felt small against it. Yet he also felt a spark, a strange excitement that humanity might rise to meet this challenge. Across oceans, civilians panicked, supplies disappeared from shelves, rumors spread faster than governments could respond. Conspiracy theories mingled with fact, but in the heart of the world's scientific and military centers, a different story unfolded. Teams worked tirelessly, connecting data, satellites, and signals. Humanity's best minds focused on a single problem: survival. Yet disagreements slowed them. Some leaders wanted to hide the truth to prevent panic. Others demanded full disclosure. The balance of global unity hung by a thread. As night fell over Europe, a small scout drone launched into orbit detected something impossible. Faint blips moving against the stars, ships, massive and dark, far larger than any human creation, moving closer with speed that defied physics. The message became urgent, no longer a warning, but a call to act. Commanders watched the screens in silence. Every human technology seemed primitive, every plan seemed fragile, and yet they had no choice but to try. In New Delhi, Arjun explained to a group of leaders, "They are showing us themselves, their technology, their power, and they are waiting, watching our response." One official shook his head. "How can we fight something so advanced?" Arjun replied calmly. "We do not know if we can, but we must. The warning gives us a chance. One chance to prepare." Outside the building, sirens blared. Protesters gathered, many unaware of the full truth, demanding explanations, demanding action. Humanity's fear was growing faster than its preparation. Rayan trained in secret, practicing maneuvers with his squadron. Simulations showed failure after failure, yet each mistake taught a lesson, a weakness discovered. He thought of his family, his little sister waiting at home. He remembered the signal. "Prepare for us," and knew this was not just a warning for generals and scientists. It was a warning for everyone, a call to rise, to survive, to face what had never been faced before. Meanwhile, Lena discovered a strange pattern hidden in the alien signal, coordinates that led beyond the solar system, a star system humans had never observed closely. She showed Arjun, "Look at this. It is like a path, or a test." Arjun's eyes widened. "They are giving us a puzzle, a challenge, and maybe the key to understanding them." This realization gave them hope. The aliens might be powerful, but they were not random. They followed rules, and rules could be studied, understood, and exploited. Across the world, human hearts raced. From the skyscrapers of Tokyo to the deserts of Africa, people felt the tremor of the first signal, the weight of the warning. Fear and hope intertwined. Humanity had never been so united by a single message. Yet the tension grew. The alien ships continued to approach. The first signs of invasion loomed on radar. Small scouts and probes entered the edges of Earth's orbit. Testing defenses, probing weaknesses. Every nation realized, too late, that the warning had been serious. It was no longer just a message. It was the beginning of a new reality. Rayan looked up at the night sky, stars shining innocently, hiding the dark fleet above. He clenched his fists. "We have to be ready," he whispered. Arjun nodded beside him. "One warning has been given, and it is enough. The world will change, whether we are ready or not." The countdown continued. Unseen, but undeniable. The first moves in a war humanity never asked for were about to begin. And the story of survival, courage, and ingenuity had only just started. The global alarm had sounded. The signal repeated once more, calm but ominous. Prepare for us. Humanity's eyes were finally open, and the first steps toward facing the unknown were beginning. The world would never be the same again. Humanity prepares. The world had finally woken, but panic still gripped the streets. Governments raced against time, scientists worked without rest, and soldiers trained under the harsh lights of bases across the globe. Humanity had been warned, and now it had to act. Arjun and Lena worked day and night decoding more of the alien message. Each new pattern revealed technology far beyond human imagination. Energy flows, shield designs, propulsion methods, even small hints of weapons. Lena frowned. They are showing us what they have, but why? Arjun rubbed his temples. So we can learn, and maybe survive. This is our only chance. Ryan stood in a massive hangar, staring at the new fighter prototypes, sleek, fast, and armed with weapons humans had never deployed before. We are not ready, he said quietly to his commander, Vikram, who stood beside him, eyes scanning the designs. We will never be fully ready, Vikram replied. But we can try. Ingenuity, speed, courage. That is our advantage. Pilots trained relentlessly, simulations showing failure after failure. Yet each mistake taught a lesson. Every loss was recorded, analyzed, and corrected. The clock was ticking. The alien fleet moved closer, and Earth had no more time to waste. In a secret facility beneath the Himalayan mountains, Arjun and Lena joined a team of top scientists, engineers, and military strategists. A new human project had begun, called Project Dawn, a prototype spaceship capable of speeds and energy manipulation. Humans had only imagined in dreams. The ship's AI, nicknamed Jyoti, could calculate millions of possibilities in seconds, suggesting maneuvers no human mind could predict. Lena ran simulations with Jyoti, charts lighting up the room in waves of color. If this works, she said, her voice trembling, we might have a chance. Arjun nodded, but his heart remained heavy. The warning was clear. The enemy was coming, and their technology was terrifying. Outside the walls of the mountain facility, families said goodbye. Soldiers hugged loved ones, eyes wet with fear and hope. Rayan received a message from his sister. Be careful. Come back to me. He read aloud, then clenched his fists. I will survive, I promise. The personal stakes became as real as the global ones. Humanity was not just defending cities, nations, or technology, it was defending life itself. Every human soul now part of a single cause, and every choice carried weight. As Arjun and Lena analyzed the alien maps, a pattern emerged, a path through the outer systems leading toward Earth. The fleet was not coming directly, it was testing, probing defenses, seeing how humans would respond, Arjun realized. They are watching our preparation as closely as we watch them. Lena's eyes widened. It is like a game, but the stakes are survival. Every calculation mattered. Every experiment could mean life or death, and humanity had to learn faster than ever before. Rayan and his squadron practiced maneuvers day and night, flying through simulations of alien ships and weapons. Each exercise ended with near disaster, but each time they learned, they adapted, they improved. Vikram reminded them, fear is natural, but fear cannot stop us. We are human, and humans survive when the odds are impossible. The first real strategy was forming, and though it was fragile, it carried hope, a glimmer of possibility against a force that seemed unstoppable. Meanwhile, on a global scale, nations shared technology for the first time in history. Satellites, weapons, ships, energy sources, all combined into a single network of preparation. Old rivalries faded in the shadow of the unknown threat. Humanity was learning unity in a way it never had before, yet the pressure was immense. Time was slipping away. The alien probes moved closer, scanning, testing, analyzing, and humanity's response was still uncertain. Each failure was a warning, each success a brief relief. One night, as Arjun reviewed the latest data, he noticed a strange irregularity in the alien fleet, a minor flaw in their shield patterns, tiny but consistent. He called Lena. Look at this. It is subtle, but it is there, a weakness. Lena studied the charts. This could be our only advantage, if we can exploit it. We might survive the first strike. Hope mixed with fear. Every decision now carried unimaginable weight. One mistake could end life as they knew it. Outside, Rayan stared at the sky, stars twinkling innocently, hiding the dark fleet that approached. He clenched his fists, remembering the signal. "Prepare for us," he whispered. "We are preparing." The world was waking, fighting, and learning. Humans were flawed, slow, and small compared to the alien force, yet the spirit of survival burned brighter than any weapon. Humanity prepared for the first time to face the unknown. The countdown continued, unseen but unstoppable. Every scientist, soldier, and pilot felt it. The first warning had been given and humanity would not ignore it. One warning was enough. The world had begun to prepare, and soon the true test of courage, ingenuity, and resilience would begin. First contact. The night sky was calm, stars twinkling peacefully. But above Earth, darkness moved. Massive alien ships gliding silently toward the planet. Humans stared in awe and fear. Radar screens filled with blips, each larger than anything built on Earth. The world held its breath. Humanity's first real test had arrived. Arjun and Lena watched the feeds from Project Dawn, heartbeats fast. Every signal, every movement analyzed. The alien fleet's formation was precise, almost mathematical, yet Arjun noticed patterns he had never seen. "They are not just attacking," he whispered. "They are observing, learning, like us." Lena nodded. "We have to be careful. One mistake, and it could be the end." Rayan and his squadron stood ready, engines humming, suits sealed tight, weapons calibrated. The hangar was silent except for the mechanical sounds of preparation. Vikram walked among them, voice firm. "This is what we trained for. We face the unknown today, not as nations, but as humanity. Courage and skill will be our shields." Pilots clenched fists, nodded, fear mixed with determination. The sky was theirs to defend. Suddenly, the first probe entered Earth's atmosphere. Small, fast, almost invisible, yet its power was undeniable. It moved with a speed no human aircraft could match. Radar operators scrambled, missiles fired, but the probe vanished, slipping through every defense, a test, and humanity understood it immediately. The aliens were not cruel, but intelligent, calculating, and this was their warning made real. Arjun studied the data, eyes wide. "It is like a chess game. Every move we make, they predict," Lena added. "But we have learned, we have prepared, and the flaw we found in their shields could be our key." Plans were hastily drawn. Simulations run. Rayan's squadron selected maneuvers that pushed human technology to its limits. Fear was real, but so was hope. The first manned engagement began at dawn. Alien scouts entered orbit, Rayan's fighters launched, jets screaming through the thin air, missiles locked on, lasers cutting through the sky, every maneuver calculated, every shot critical. The alien scouts adapted immediately, shields bending energy in ways humans barely understood. Pilots fell back, some lost, some succeeded. The first strike was messy, chaotic, terrifying, yet humanity endured. In Project Dawn, Arjun and Lena directed energy pulses at the incoming fleet. Jyoti, the AI, guided them with calculations no human mind could follow. They targeted the flaw they had discovered. One precise strike could disable a scout. One mistake could destroy the station. Lena's hands shook over the console. "It's now or never," she whispered. The pulses fired, lights flared, and one scout faltered, then exploded, a small victory, but a powerful message. Humanity could fight back. Back on Earth, civilians watched news feeds with disbelief, fear, and hope all at once. The battle above was unlike anything ever seen. Humans and aliens clashed in silence. The sky became a theater of courage, humanity's ingenuity shining against the dark unknown. Rayan's squadron pressed forward, dodging fire, exploiting weaknesses, every move teaching them more about their enemy, every survivor, a hero, every casualty, a reminder of the stakes. Arjun realized the alien fleet was more than ships. It was a living strategy, coordinated, intelligent, yet predictable in small ways. He leaned toward Lena. "They are teaching us, testing our limits," she nodded, "and we are learning faster than they expect." Small successes turned into larger ones. Pilots adapted. Scientists predicted movements. Engineers improved defenses in real time. Humanity was rising. Each human act a spark against the darkness. Rayan's fighter dove through a swarm of alien drones. Missiles fired around him, lasers slicing through the air. He remembered his sister's words, "Come back to me." That thought fueled every maneuver, every risky decision. He pushed the aircraft beyond limits, dodged death, and returned fire, scoring critical hits. Humanity's courage meeting alien intelligence in a deadly dance. As night fell again, the first contact ended with losses on both sides. Alien scouts withdrew, not destroyed, but tested. Humans celebrated small victories quietly, mourning those who fell. The first message was clear. The aliens had shown their power, and humanity had responded. The warning was real, the threat immediate, yet hope remained. One warning had been enough, but the war for survival had only begun. Arjun looked at Lena, tired but resolute. "We survived the first encounter, but this is only the beginning." Lena nodded. "They will return, stronger, smarter, and we must be ready." Ryan landed his fighter, stepping out, exhausted, battered, yet alive. He whispered to the sky, "We are ready." Humanity had faced the unknown and lived. Courage had been tested, resilience proven, and the true story of survival, ingenuity, and unity was beginning to unfold. The first contact was over, but the war for Earth was just starting. The countdown continued, unseen, unstoppable, and humanity's determination burned brighter than any fear. The rising tide, humanity had survived the first encounter. But the sky above still held darkness. Alien ships moved farther, preparing, observing, learning from the mistakes humans had made. Arjun studied new signals from Project Dawn. Every data stream hinted at something deeper. "They are not just attacking," he said, voice low. "They are probing our weaknesses, testing how fast we can adapt." Lena nodded. "And we are learning faster than they expect." The rising tide of challenge pressed down on every human mind across the globe. Defense systems were upgraded, new fleets launched, scientists and engineers worked around the clock. Humanity's mistakes turned into lessons, lessons into strategies, and strategies into weapons, something humans had never done on such a scale. Global unity became not just a goal, but a necessity. Countries shared resources, technologies, even soldiers trained together in ways never imagined. The world had become one army, one mind, facing the unknown together. Rayan led a new squadron. Older pilots lost, newer ones inexperienced, fear gripping many, but determination stronger. They flew through simulations of alien tactics. The rising tide was real. Drones, scouts, and larger ships moving closer, each maneuver more dangerous than the last. "Focus on the flaws," Rayan reminded them, voice firm. "We fight smart, not just brave." Pilots followed, weaving through deadly laser fields, DoD, Jing missiles, and striking precise points, every mission teaching them how to survive. In Project Dawn, Arjun and Lena discovered an anomaly in the alien energy flow, a subtle rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, pulsing through their shields. Lena stared at the screen. "This is it, a pattern. If we can time our attacks with it, we can bypass their defenses." Arjun's eyes widened. "This is more than luck. It is opportunity. The rising tide can be turned." They sent instructions to military commanders, every second counting, every human life depending on precision. Meanwhile, civilians faced fear in ways never seen before. Cities reinforced, evacuation drills intensified, families huddled together, some crying, some praying, hope and terror intertwined. Rayan's thoughts often returned to his sister, her voice in his mind. "Come back." It fueled every decision, every risky maneuver, and reminded him that humanity was not just fighting for survival, but for each other. Every human being a reason to fight, a reason to endure. As alien ships moved into orbit, a massive armada unlike anything seen before, humans launched countermeasures, missiles fired, energy pulses released, fighter squadrons darting between lines of fire, chaos and strategy intertwined. The rising tide of the alien force pressed relentlessly, but humans adapted, exploiting small flaws, creating openings, striking precise hits, each success small but critical, each failure painful but instructive. Arjun watched the data feeds, pulse racing. "They are evolving, but so are we," he said, turning to Lena. "Each move we make forces them to react, and that reaction reveals weakness." Lena nodded, eyes fixed, fingers flying across the console. "The rising tide can be guided if we understand it." Humanity's ingenuity and resilience began to show. Even in the face of a vastly superior force, every human decision mattered. Every act of courage counted. Rayan's squadron faced a massive alien energy beams slicing through the sky. Fighters falling, alarms screaming. He maneuvered with skill, dodging destruction, firing precise shots. One pilot beside him hit, explosions lighting the dark clouds, yet he pressed on, his mind sharp, heart racing, determination unyielding. The rising tide of alien aggression met the rising tide of human courage, and the balance shifted. Back in Project Dawn, Arjun made a bold decision. We strike now, at the core of their formation, exploiting the rhythm we found. Lena hesitated. It is risky. Millions of lives at stake. Arjun clenched his jaw. Risk is all we have. We cannot wait. Orders sent. Humanity moved as one, synchronized, precise, daring, against a force that seemed unstoppable. As the first coordinated strike hit, alien ships faltered, energy shields flickering, human fighters exploiting openings, explosions lighting the sky, hope spreading across Earth. Humans realized that the rising tide of the unknown could be met with a rising tide of courage, intelligence, and unity. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, humanity had more than fear. They had strategy, skill, and determination. The rising tide was no longer just a threat. It was a challenge, one that humans were learning to master. Arjun turned to Lena, exhausted yet smiling faintly. We survived, and we fought back. The rising tide is ours to guide. Lena nodded, eyes shining. But the storm is not over. It will return, stronger, smarter, and we must be ready. Rayan landed his fighter, battered but alive, looking at the dark sky, whispering, "We are ready, and we will rise again." Humanity had learned, adapted, and for the first time, believed that survival was possible. The rising tide had come, massive and unstoppable. Yet humanity met it, endured it, and began to master it. One warning had been enough to awaken rage, and now the world had begun to fight as one, ready for whatever the unknown would bring next. The hidden threat, humanity had faced the rising tide, survived the first massive battles, and learned that courage, strategy, and unity could bend the odds. Yet in the quiet after victory, a new fear emerged. Signals unseen, movements undetected, whispers in space. The hidden threat had arrived. Arjun stared at the screens in Project Dawn, unease tightening his chest. "Something is moving, but it is not like the ships we have fought," he said, voice tense, fingers flying across the console. Lena leaned closer, eyes scanning. "It's hiding, masking its presence, but it is large, intelligent, and fast." Every operator held their breath, knowing that the unknown had just become more dangerous. Rayan and his squadron were briefed, tension thick in the air. "The hidden threat is unlike anything we have encountered," their commander said. "It does not attack openly. It watches, waits, strikes unexpectedly. One mistake and we may never know what hit us." Pilots clenched their fists, hearts pounding, their courage tested in ways that felt almost impossible. The first signs came in the outer orbit, satellites disappearing, communications dropping, automated drones failing. The hidden threat moved like a shadow, unseen, unpredictable, striking at humanity's infrastructure, leaving chaos and fear in its wake. Arjun analyzed the patterns. "It is learning from us, studying our response times, our strategies," Lena added. "It adapts faster than anything we imagined. We must think differently, fight differently." In the skies above Europe, Rayan's squadron chased a shadow, missiles fired, lasers cut through darkness, yet the enemy vanished, leaving only faint energy signatures. The pilots whispered among themselves, fear and frustration battling with determination. One pilot shouted over the comms, "It's like it knows our every move before we make it." Rayan replied calmly, "Then we make moves it cannot predict, change everything." On Earth, humanity scrambled, cities reinforced, civilians evacuated, every possible defense deployed. The hidden threat struck without warning, disabling energy grids, intercepting messages, creating confusion, yet humans refused to panic. Scientists worked feverishly, engineers improvised, strategists predicted, slowly unraveling the enemy's behavior. Every small discovery, a lifeline in the darkness. Arjun noticed a subtle pattern in the chaos, a pulse in the enemy's energy waves, almost like a heartbeat. It was faint, irregular, but consistent. "This is it," he said, excitement mingled with fear. "The hidden threat has a rhythm. If we can exploit it, we can fight it. Lena's hands flew over the controls, sending calculations, predictions, and attack coordinates to Earth's fleet. Every second mattered. Lives hung in balance. Rayan led a daring mission to engage the enemy directly. Pilots aware of the risks, each maneuver more dangerous than the last. The hidden threat revealed itself briefly. A massive ship unlike anything seen before, shields flickering, energy pulsating in strange waves, attacks firing with precision, yet oddly reactive. Human pilots realized that this enemy was studying them as much as they studied it. In Project Dawn, Arjun and Lena launched a counter-strategy, timing attacks with the pulse they had detected, coordinating fighter squadrons, missile strikes, and energy beams in perfect synchronization. Chaos became order. Fear became focus. Every human act amplified. Humans forced the hidden threat to respond, exposing its weak points, showing its patterns, revealing its limits. Rayan's squadron engaged in a deadly dance, dodging energy beams, striking at weak points. One pilot hit and lost in fire, another narrowly escaped. The sky lit with explosions, courage and terror intertwined. Rayan remembered the faces of those he fought for, family, friends, humanity itself, every decision sharpened by the knowledge that failure meant extinction, yet they pressed on. Finally, the hidden threat faltered. A massive pulse of human energy striking at the weak points discovered, shields collapsing, the massive ship retreating, energy signals fading. Humans realized they had survived the first true test of intelligence and cunning. The hidden threat was not destroyed, but it had been forced to retreat. Understanding that humanity was not so easy to break, Arjun exhaled, exhausted, sweat on his brow. We survived the hidden threat, but it will return, stronger, smarter. Lena nodded, eyes fierce. We must be ready, anticipate, adapt, and fight with everything we have. Rayan landed his fighter, battered and weary, but alive, looking at the darkened sky, whispering, "We have seen its power. Now we know our own." Humanity had faced the invisible, the cunning, and had endured, learning more in one battle than in all that came before. Yet in the quiet moments after victory, fear lingered. The hidden threat would return, and when it did, humans had to be ready not just to survive, but to dominate, to show that no shadow, no unseen force could take Earth without consequence. One warning had been enough to awaken courage. The rising tide had come and receded, and now humanity waited, sharp, prepared, unstoppable. The hidden threat had shown its hand, but humanity had learned to read it, to strike back. And as the stars blinked silently above, the world realized the final confrontation was coming. The unknown would return. But this time, humanity would not cower. They would fight, they would adapt, and they would endure. The final stand. Humanity had faced the rising tide, survived the hidden threat, and learned that courage, strategy, and unity could bend even the odds of the impossible. Yet the final battle loomed. The unknown was preparing its greatest assault, more massive, more intelligent, more deadly than anything before. Arjun watched the screens in Project Dawn, exhaustion written on his face, eyes sharp and focused. "They are coming in full force," he said, voice steady. "Every fleet, every ship, every drone, they bring it all." Lena beside him, hands flying over controls, nodded. "We are ready, but this is not just survival anymore. This is everything we have fought for." Tension thickened the room, silence heavy, every heartbeat counting. Across the globe, human forces mobilized like never before. Fleets assembled, cities evacuated, energy shields raised, and weapons powered to maximum. For the first time, humanity acted as a single entity, each nation a vital part of one living organism, a living army, ready to strike, ready to endure, ready to survive the impossible. Rayan led the primary assault squadron, flying into the darkened sky. Fighters slicing through clouds, energy beams streaking around, explosions lighting the horizon, every move precise, every attack coordinated. Fear fought with courage, every pilot remembering the faces they fought for, humanity itself fueling their resolve. In space, the alien armada revealed its full strength. Ships larger than moons, bristling with weapons, energy shields glowing like stars, intelligence pulsing through every command, the hidden threat leading the assault, orchestrating chaos, probing weaknesses, testing humanity one last time. Arjun's voice cut through the tension over comms. "Focus, watch the patterns, strike the weak points, follow the rhythm." Humans had learned from every encounter, every mistake, every victory. The alien intelligence was fast, adaptive, cunning, but humans were unpredictable, resilient, and clever. Lena's calculations guided Rayon and his squadron, missiles timed with energy pulses, lasers slicing at gaps in shields, fighters weaving through fire, each move a perfect counter. On Earth, civilians watched from safe zones, hearts in throats, hope and terror intertwined, children held by parents, whispers of prayers, screens showing the battle in progress, humanity fighting not just for survival, but for existence, for every life, every dream, every future. Rayon's squadron faced the hidden threat directly. Massive alien ship pulsing with strange energy, shields almost impenetrable, lasers slicing through space, yet humans fought with ingenuity, exploiting patterns discovered by Arjun and Lena. Missiles timed with the alien pulse, energy beams striking at weak points, explosions lighting the darkness, pilots shouting, hearts racing, courage unbroken. Arjun watched the data, pulse racing. Now, the final move, every fleet, every weapon, coordinated, every human act as one. Lena nodded, sweat on her brow. This is it. The final stand. We strike with everything. Orders sent. Humanity moved like one mind, one heartbeat, one unstoppable force against a foe that had threatened extinction. The alien ship faltered, energy shields flickering, massive explosions tearing through the hull, yet it fought back, adaptive, relentless. But humans were faster, smarter, united. Rayon's squadron dodged, struck, maneuvered with precision, every hit weakening the enemy. Humanity's ingenuity matched with courage, determination, and unity. On Earth, Arjun and Lena monitored every move, coordinating strikes, predicting alien responses, guiding fleets across land, sea, and sky. Humans everywhere became a part of the battle, civilians aiding engineers, soldiers supporting pilots, humanity acting as one living organism. The unknown met the human spirit, and humanity refused to break. Finally, with one massive coordinated strike, the alien command ship exploded, energy cascading into space, shields shattering, fleets retreating, the hidden threat collapsing. Humanity had survived the impossible, endured the unimaginable, triumphed against the greatest unknown it had ever faced. Arjun exhaled, relief washing over him. Lena smiled through exhaustion. We did it. Rayon landed his fighter, battered, tired, but alive, looking at the horizon, energy from the battle fading, whispering, we survived. We endured. We rose above fear. Across Earth, humans cheered, cried, held each other, the realization of victory sinking in. One warning had been enough to awaken courage. Now humanity had proven its strength, unity, and resilience. Yet in the quiet after-battle, a subtle pulse lingered, faint, almost imperceptible, a reminder that the universe was vast, unknown, and full of challenges. Humanity had survived this storm, learned from it, and would be ready for the next, stronger, wiser, unstoppable. Arjun looked at the stars, voice soft. We are ready for whatever comes next. Lena beside him, eyes shining, because humanity does not just survive, it rises, it adapts, it fights with everything. Rayon's voice echoed in the comms. The unknown may return, but we will never be unprepared again. Humanity had faced the rising tide, the hidden threat, and the final storm, and had endured, victorious, united, and ready. The stars above silent witnesses to the courage, resilience, and unstoppable spirit of humans. One warning had been enough, and humanity had risen, stronger than the unknown, ready to face eternity.